common sense Conservative Party is focused on cutting taxes, building housing, fixing the budget, and stopping crime. Meanwhile, the radical Minister of the Environment and this Prime Minister has launched a war on cars. He said our government has decided to no longer invest in new road infrastructure. How does he think people living in the regions are going to get to work? On their bikes? Right, Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the minister clarified his comments. The fact is that our approach when it comes to highway infrastructure has not changed. Since 2015, we've invested billions in roadways, whether it's bridges, ports, or highways. We will continue to invest in infrastructure all across Canada. Our approach hasn't changed, but the Conservative approach hasn't changed either. They voted against our investments in infrastructure. They voted against our investments in bridges, roadways, and rural communities and major cities. The Conservatives have always voted against the Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Mr. Speaker, he didn't clarify. He added to his comments. The minister, the radical minister, said that the type of project the Liberal government would block would be like the third link for people in the greater Quebec City area. People need that third link. People need their cars when they live in rural areas. But this Prime Minister wants to get in their way. Why is he waging war against cars instead of helping people get to work? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure Quebecers will be happy to hear that the Conservative Party is once again in favour of the third link. The fact is that our government's approach when it comes to investing in transportation, transit, and roads hasn't changed since 2015. The new Samuel Champlain Bridge is one example, and the Gordie Howe Bridge is under construction. We will always invest in infrastructure, and apparently the Conservative Party will always be there to vote against our investments in infrastructure.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, the crazy carbon tax minister has done it again. This time, he's saying that the federal government is not going to support any new road construction. I quote, "Our government has made the decision to stop investing in new road infrastructure." End quote. So he believes that people in Yukon or rural Alberta or rural Newfoundland will have to get to work riding a bicycle. Mr. Speaker, why should those people have to pay taxes for infrastructure when they can't possibly use the tramways and the bicycles that he's funding?
So a couple of months ago, the chair had made it clear to all members that we should be using certain adjectives in regards to particular members of Parliament, to individual members of Parliament. So like the word crazy is not a word that we should be using in this, and that's one of the things which I had been given direction to members. So I'm going to ask members, please, from now on, to exercise, to work within the boundaries of parliamentary language. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister has already clarified his remarks. Our government's approach to investing in trade corridors and roads that Canadians rely on has not changed since 2015. We will continue to step up, and we got projects like the Samuel de Champlain Bridge in Montreal across the finish line, and we're going to get others like the Gordie Howe Bridge built. We're going to continue to invest in infrastructures. But what also hasn't changed is the Conservative Party's opposition to investments in roads, in communities, in bridges, in ports, right across the country as we grow the economy, because all the Conservative leader is offering is cuts, cuts, cuts.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, first, this radical minister is bringing in a 61 cent a litre carbon tax on people who are committing the crime of driving to work or operating their farms. Then he wants to ban people from using vehicles that are necessary in our climate. And now he says he's going to ban all federal funding for future roads. Our government has made the decision to stop investing in new road infrastructure. Will the Prime Minister condemn these crazy comments?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Once again, the minister has clarified his remarks. Our approach to infrastructure continues to be one of investing in the future for Canadians. Through the National Trade Corridors Fund alone, we're building projects like a new bridge over the Yukon River in Dawson City, new interchanges on Highway 101 and 103 in Nova Scotia, and twinning the Trans-Canada Highway in parts of Newfoundland. We're also working with municipalities through the Community Building Fund. Just in Ontario, this means almost 2,900 projects for local roads and bridges. What has not changed as well is the Conservative Party's opposition to investing in future, investing in